first time I've seen a movie where I'm gonna go home and enjoy my fridge. So that's congratulations, filmmakers, on that. None of them are here, but we do have three of the actors from the film. First off, our heroes, Jeremy Sisto and Ashfield are here. And also we have the title character himself, Mr. Eric Michael Cole. He's somewhere instead of picking people up. There he is. Alright, well, Eric creeps people out for a while. You guys, you're playing a couple that obviously been together for a while, you have a teenage daughter. How much did you guys get to work together before you actually started filming?
Yeah, it was pretty quick. It was pretty quick. We were looking for someone to do this, but we did it for very, very little. It was Adam and Son who were here, wrote the script, and they came to me and asked me. So creepy. To the blind stereo. But yeah, and then we met with people at our house, but we had instances of comfortableness, which is always good. It's just about, two personalities getting along or not. Some people you can work with, or you can hang out with one time and it will never get better. Like these. She just got a new tattoo to swallow. You have nothing to add?
No, it was really easy straight away, wasn't it? Yeah.
And the kids, unless it's just an amazing coincidence, they're really siblings, right?
They're really siblings. I've known them since they were just little types.
All right.
And yeah, so it was easy. But I've known this guy since for 20 years now. And, he was just a perfect fit.
Is he gonna talk? If I ask him a question, am I gonna
listen?
to
Yeah.
Okay.
He's gonna sound creepy even without that thing. Like you're telling him to just, downplay the creepiness of his actual personality for future career. Was your question for him?
I was just the creepiest part of the movie is probably your like pig squealing type thing that you were doing. Is that modulated, or can you really do that? And if so, can you do it right now? It's like very, very Leatherface, very original Leatherface, just like high pitched whine. English.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah. Anyway, guys. I'm really not that scary, right? Yeah, I'm just a normal guy, right?
Talk about because like the 2 or 3 moments in the movie where we're not supposed to see you right away, and it's like, oh shit, he's been in there the whole time. Talk about shooting those and how difficult that is to stay that still, because I mean, the slightest twitch would give it away. But.
Yeah, there's a lot of walking around in the dark with pantyhose on my head. That was probably the most challenging thing. Making sure there's plenty of times where I tripped or I bumped into something.
There's a microphone.
No, hi. It was hot in the attic, but it was a real joy to do. But it was really hot in the attic, and it was I just tripped a lot in the dark with the pantyhose. I had like 2 things of pantyhose on my head, and so.
And was it always you? When it's handheld, is it always you?
It was me a lot of the time, but sometimes it wasn't.
Oh, okay.
But sometimes you'd see me walking around in the other cameras with it, so they used a lot of the footage that I was capturing. I'm not really a cameraman, so
But I mean, it works.
They guys were better than me that did that sometimes. So.
You see some of these, these type of movies, these POV found footage types, and a lot of times they don't have the actors actually man the camera, and you can almost, it's like on a subconscious level, you can tell. I think they work so much better when you actually just have You know, who cares if it's a little shaky, if it's not perfectly framed, that's the way it would be.
Yeah.
The director,
And
Adam,
totally-
was very good at that. Sometimes he would do it instead of Eric. He always wanted Eric to do it, but sometimes when it couldn't happen, and he was very good at making it seem very natural.
Sometimes I'd stand behind him and like, while he was filming, and we.
There's one funny story that I'll tell, which is about about this.
Oh, sorry.
We were trying to find the look for Eric, and so we went to the installation room, and we found some clothes that seemed very scary. They were black and, and menacing looking, and so then we filmed the first night with the night vision on camera, and the next day we were very discouraged to see that something we didn't understand about night vision is that certain fabrics, no matter what color they are, come off pale white. So he looked like the Pillsbury dope one walking around the house, a completely white condom looking camera, not at all scary. So we had to refilm that.
And more on the cameras, were you guys aware of each and every one where they were, or did Adam just kind of let you in, into the room, and you were not unaware where they all were?
No, I mean, we chose all the angles, but we didn't only have like, we didn't have enough money for more than I think, we had 5 or 6 cameras, so we were able to do like, it was really fun to do, because we were able to do 3 rooms at a time, so some of those scenes we could just play out, and it was all little video cameras, so you could just play them a few different times, and that allowed a pretty fun,
And was that your stunt at the end? I almost said spoiler, but you also just watched it when you're hanging at the end. How did they pull that off?
Yeah,
It's hard to do that, like when you're in the, you can't cut around.
Yeah, no, we had a couple of good guys. A friend of mine who used to be a stunt guy and still had connections that came out, and I probably wasn't on the books as much as it should have been for my own neck, but we built a little wooden structure, and then how that works. They have like a thing that's behind the rope, I guess, or something around the rope, and then it's got a whole body harness. But it wasn't perfect. It was not like a professional job. There was one take that the rope had not been used properly. My esophagus was sore for a few days. But it was worth it. It was really, really good.
They saved that for the end just in case.
Exactly.
And for Kate, you have a lot of scenes where you're just kind of in the house, completely unaware. Talk about shooting those scenes, because obviously you know that what's happening, but you have to play. I mean, completely oblivious. It must be.
Well, I think the thing is, because the cameras were small cameras that were put up on the wall, you could really be unaware of the cameras at all times, And people would be downstairs. It was just that being in the house. Yeah.
It wasn't a huge crew either.
No,
so.
it wasn't at all. No.
And real house too, not a set. You guys really found that place.
Yeah.
One of our producers,
Okay.
It's
her
their
house.
Yeah.
Her husband is starting to speak to us again.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any questions for them? Oh, you're right there.
A question for each of you. How did the project come to you initially, and what about it was really attractive that made you decide to do it?
I'll start. So Adam and Simon came to me, the writers and the director came to me and pitched me the idea, and I said, yeah, I really liked it. I had not done a lot of horror, but I felt like, all right, maybe I have, but I've never been on the producing end of it. So it seemed exciting because of the ability to just play these scenes and not be watched, and I saw the tension, having this kind of balm under the movie seat kind of tension throughout a normal, sort of very intimate family scenes was something that excited me. So I said, yeah, and we ran scripts very fast. We wrote it, and then that's when we had to start looking for these guys.
It's like a mutual friend of Adam's and mine contacted me and said, Adam, what's your number? And he's got something to talk to you about. And and then that was it. He said, come and read the script and come and meet me and Jeremy. And so yeah, it's quite simple.
Well, I've known Jeremy for a long time, and I had worked with the director Adam once before on a music video side was creepy enough. And Jeremy was like, "Oh, of course, yes, Eric's very creepy." And I guess it just took it from there. And it just seemed like an interesting spin on a horror movie, because normally the protagonist we see that has the camera running around in these quote-unquote found footage type movies, but this one was the point of view of the killer, like a voyeuristic type movie, which I thought was different and creepier. Because you always wonder, a lot of these movies, you wonder why they don't put the camera down, but obviously he was making his own little movie. So.
I've seen them where the protagonist will sit there and actually film their friend getting murdered by a zombie or whatever. And they're just like, "Oh no, it's not!" Like, But I was waiting because a lot of them have also, when your character says, let's install an alarm system or something. I'm like, "Oh my God, can we finally get the moment where they install their own cameras and then the killer's like, oh cool, I get more angles. Like that's great." Do you have a question?
Yeah, I was curious. The room that we saw the killer in, was that the attic or was that another room in the house?
It was a small little space. I don't know if you guys have ever explored your attics, but sometimes they're quite vast and nobody ever really goes into the dark corners. But behind the air conditioning unit, there was just a piece of plywood set up
And mimic the ceiling of the attic. Yeah.
So just a small little space to hide in. I mean, it was small. I was in there a lot. And, I think that it's creepy enough that you guys might want to check your attics because somebody could hide in a little spot up there.
Well, when we were developing it, I think it was when we were developing. Maybe it was before there was a script that an article came out about someone, I believe it was in the Midwest, where this family found in their crawl space in their house, they found a homeless man that had been living there for, a couple of years. He would sneak in at night and lived there. He didn't hurt them, but he lived in their crawl space. So that was proof that the concept was good.
But that was sort of the inspiration of it.
We said that. I don't know if it's true. Don't tell me. I feel like that actually happened after we started developing it.
Oh.
And then we were like,
This what?
I knew this was happening.
Yeah.
And then I thought, what, did you guys actually be the homeless guy? And then you just pitching me to realize, I don't think it'll work.
There you go. Getting a lot of Periscope love over there.
Periscope.
Do we have a couple of them? Yeah, right here.
Are you thinking about it make a sequel?
Question is, between here as their plan for a second one.
Yeah, it kind of depends. If the film was bought, is being released VOD, and and all those digital formats and yada yada yada, everything except in theaters. And so if it gains a following, then hopefully they will ask us, because there are a lot of different ways we could go. We started this first one with a kind of a family that felt safe, that felt like people could relate to it. But obviously, this concept is something that would work nicely with a family that had a lot of secrets. And I didn't masturbate once in the thing, and I believe that character would masturbate once. And we would cut out before the actual, but I didn't. So anyway, so I feel like as a family masturbating, it could be a great sequel.
Are you speaking from personal experience?
I've never masturbated, so how dare you? Just rude. So I don't think it depends. To be honest, we made it for so cheap, and we're still dealing with delivering the stuff, the things, and the things. None of us, me, Adam, and Simon produced it, and we're not real producers. I just paid for it myself, and we just don't know what the hell we're doing. We have to deliver things, and it's awful. Unless somebody comes aboard and says, we really want to make this, and we have concepts that could fit that. And that television show we actually considered as well. And one of the main reasons is because Eric really brought a lot to the thing that obviously wasn't on the page. I know that Eric, there was a scene where Eric and Adam would go upstairs and I'd be doing something else, and then I was shocked to find out what they did, that all that screaming and shouting and was crazy, and there was a lot of it too, like a whole bunch of stuff that wasn't in the movie. But that was just through, Eric's, personal insanity, that kind of stuff, sort of, man, it really is kind of the most interesting part of the thing, I think. So it'd be great to see that character, Eric's character, where, his origin and why he started doing this, and sort of some more storylines with him, I think. Maybe. I don't know, I feel bad when I see the movie because we shot her in the face. I was very upset when we shot her in the face at the end. That was actually after we came back and shot her in the face later. We didn't shoot her in the face. Originally, we just cut out. And then we said we need to shoot her in the face. I don't know who said that. Probably it was her. Somebody said we need to shoot her in the balloon back and shot her in the face. It was wrong. Anything else?
Yeah, right here.
Was there ever a version of the story where the drama of the cheating and the pregnancy continued to play out a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, no, it was pretty much kind of a first draft that they wrote the script. I mean, if we were to do it again, like I said, horror is not really my genre, so for me it was really interesting because it felt like a lot of it real stuff. But if I were to do it again and in sequels, that drama is really what needs to play out from the beginning, because as much tension as it adds to have this dude living in your attic, there still needs to be drama to, in my opinion, to really keep you, So no, it didn't actually in the making of it that happened, but after the fact, I thought I would like to see that play out more.
There was another storyline about why he was at work late as well.
Oh yeah.
Which ended up going, and some of it was almost, I think because they edited it so many different ways to try and get the best out of it, and some of it was just too relaxed and normal, wasn't it? A bit too funny.
Which one part?
Just the whole family stuff.
There was some families, there was some light stuff.
Yeah. So
Well, we had to cut it down. It was, it was a lot of hanging out.
Yeah.
It was a lot of us, him just creeping around. So we had to, like any movie. Was it? Her daughter, creepy, and room. But those three words are very creepy. Yeah. Creep into our daughter. Yeah.
Oh no, I think they were talking about you with finding the.
Oh, with the thing. Yeah, that was them. I was like, I don't know if this is gonna play, but I guess it played. You know what I want. Yeah.
All right, last question.
How much of it was scripted and how much of it was improvisational? Because you said you had a lot of just extra footage.
I mean, I think it was pretty scripted, but
you used to say loosey goosey.
did I say loosey goosey? Yeah, no, it definitely allows this style of filming definitely allows you to kind of follow whatever whims you have. And that's kind of like how I like to do stuff anyway. So I like to feel like anything could happen at any time. And if you have a whim that you want to go out on, you can go out on it. And this definitely allows for that kind of low stress shooting.
But it was from the script. It wasn't just make up a scene about it.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Really appreciate it.